I tried growing a new brassica crop this season, and it is called the broccoli kale. And so I guess it's like a cross between, you guessed it, broccoli and kale. So the plant has a pretty cool look to it, has a really good flavor, and I think it can have a pretty good deal of promise, especially for people who are pretty adventurous with like trying new types of foods and plants and things of that nature. So I got these seeds from the Experimental Farm Network, and I have a link attached to that down in the description or the show notes. And so typically kale in and of itself is actually a biennial plant, right? So it will form all those leaves in the first year of growth typically, and then it will overwinter if the winter is mild enough, and then it will actually send up that flower stalk, or like that broccoli stalk type thing, the next season, right? The following spring. This type of kale is different, right? This broccoli kale is actually more of an annual, right? So it's more, it's like broccoli, where it will produce leaves, but then it will send up that flower stalk in the same season, right? And flower and set seed, and then it will die back in the wintertime. So I started this plant indoors, actually, like in late February, early March, and I eventually planted it out early to mid-April, right? And I made sure I kept it watered, and I found that I had to protect it from rabbits. Unfortunately, I found it after the rabbits had taken out a bunch of those plants already. But aside from that, the 3 remaining broccoli kale plants that I have, or 2.5, the rabbits got another one, but it's still alive. And I just want to document my process a little bit, how I started these plants, transplanted them, how I harvested them, and kind of like their flavor profile and all that. What I've done here is I have put the 1 tablespoon of bean seed fertilizer in here, and then I mixed it around with my hand. Now I'm just going to go ahead and water these in. Now I can cover this with soil. So we'll see how that does. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and harvest this head of broccoli kale, because for 2 reasons. I'm interested to see what it tastes like, and secondly, I also want to see if or how enthusiastically this plant will send out side shoots, right, for more heads of broccoli kale. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to remove this caging so it's a little bit more easy for me to work, and then I will put the caging right back, and then I'm going to take some pruners. I have some hand pruners here. Oops. Some hand pruners, and I'm going to go ahead and then clip that off. And here we have a head of broccoli kale. So the leaves actually taste like a mix between kale and broccoli leaves. Like I was really expecting it to have a stronger kale flavor, but it's actually a little bit more mild. So I also just tasted the base of the stalk, and that's really good, nice and sweet. I think I'm going to go ahead and steam this up and see how it turns out. So we can see that this is the broccoli kale plant that I had harvested from I harvested the stalk from that a couple of weeks ago, and we can see the dark purple spots here are starting to produce some new growth, new shoots. We've also been in the middle of a drought, so this process is probably a lot slower than what it otherwise might be. But it seems like these shoots have pretty good promise to be, of a sizable nature, and I might be able to get some more harvests off of that, but that'll probably be for another video, and I'll continue to work to monitor this and see how the side shoots turn out, and maybe some of them let them produce some seed and then harvest those seeds. Alright, so thank you so much for checking out this video on the broccoli kale plant. It's a pretty cool plant. It has promised to be, at the very least, a very good conversation starter, and if you show someone your garden or whatever. So in the meantime, thank you so much for checking out this video. I appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing you in a future video. Take care.